ever seen. One thing he's not, however, is a member of the 76ers organization. He recently spoke to Bleacher Report's Taylor Rooks about his desire to help the team. Take a listen, y'all.
I've forgotten more basketball than some people know. And I know I can help an organization get better. I know so much of the ins and outs in basketball, and not just talent-wise, as far as, you know, who's good, who's not. Anybody know Kevin Durant is good. You know what I mean? But I know other things when it comes to basketball. I know the look. Yeah. I know the eyes. I know the posture. I'm a Sixer for life. Okay. I got Sixer blood pumping through me. So everybody know that I want to help their organization. I've been retired, 11 years? I don't know how I'm not a part of that staff some kind of way. And the money thing ain't got nothing to do with it. It's just me being me and me being a Sixer and wanting to help.
All right, a lot to unpack there. Dan, I actually want to start with you. What's your reaction to Iverson's comments here?
It makes me think of the Lions and Calvin Johnson. Molly, I was with the Lions 7 out of my 12 years in the NFL. They drafted me. So the Lions as an organization in the city mean a lot to me. And Calvin Johnson right now is not on good footing with the Lions organization, mainly because they asked for, after he retired, money back. And this drives me nuts. And I love the Lions, but this is so stupid by them. I was there when we were terrible. We were the laughing stock of the NFL. Those fans came to every single game. And one of the reasons why is the guy on the screen, 81. One of the reasons why is because to go watch that Hall of Fame player play. We were on Monday Night Football a couple times, and the only reason why was number 81. He's one of the pillars of that city. This man could have left Detroit after he got done playing. He still lives in that city. He's a man of character. His family's incredible. Detroit means a lot to him. They're basically telling, we don't want you to be a part of our organization over $1.6 million. The Lions, this is so ignorant by them because Calvin wants to be a part of that place. Not only should they pay him back their $1.6 million, they should put interest on it because that money should have been sitting in the bank account. They should go to Calvin and go, whatever we need to do, you need to be a part of our organization. No, there's no side job, Lions. There's no community service that he should have to do. There's no appearances that he should have to do. You guys have to make this right. Allen Iverson's right with Philadelphia, and Calvin Johnson is right with the Detroit Lions. You call him and go, what does it take to make sure? Listen, he's one of the faces of the franchises of the last 50 years. Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. The Lions should make this right. This is, in many ways, an embarrassment that one of the faces of your organization, the guy that gave you, I was in those locker rooms, this man gave that football organization everything that he had. The Lions owe it to their fans, they owe it to their organization, and they owe it to their players, and mainly Calvin Johnson. You call him, you send his money back to him, plus interest, and you go, what do you want? Because we want you as part of our organization. The Sixers need to do the same thing with AI.
Appreciate your sentiments, Dan. Molly, Dan, you know, I'm going to try to be as cool as I possibly can be in expressing this, and it's going to take me a little while, so bear with me. Anybody that knows anything about me in terms of covering the NBA knows that Allen Iverson is my man. I've covered him for the first 10 years of his career every day in Philadelphia. It's not a popular thing to say when you are a journalist or ultimately becomes a commentator and a pundit or whatever, but I love this brother. He's the little brother I never had. I'm the youngest of 6. And we're that tight. I have that level of love for him. And so anything that I say, it's important that I preface my comments by acknowledging that relationship that he and I have. We still talk all the time. He's watching now. Allen Iverson was not perfect. Allen Iverson came to practice late sometimes. Allen Iverson, you know, in some people's eyes might have violated every dress code you can imagine. Allen Iverson, didn't always toe the line. He was a maverick. The tats, the cornrows, and all of this other stuff that comes with it that people either want to revere and praise him for or denigrate him for. All of those things you can side with. And when you think about corporate America and what it requires from us, particularly how I roll, if you make some of the mistakes that he made, you would sit up there and say, why should the Sixers want Allen Iverson there? So let me put that out there. And my response to that is the Sixers organization is the one organization that has no business taking this position. Allen Iverson is absolutely right. 1,000%. And I haven't spoken to the Sixers, but I will. Because this is some BS. I was not aware. I didn't ask Allen Iverson about this. I wasn't aware that he had absolutely no role with the Sixers organization. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. I didn't think to ask. I assumed that they did have him in for. And let me tell you why I assumed that. Dan, Molly, the same Sixers organization that evidently doesn't employ Allen Iverson in any capacity is the same Sixers organization that used him for bobblehead night and retired his jersey and did everything they could to celebrate him in recent years to generate revenue and interest in their franchise when that bogus process was ongoing and you couldn't win a damn practice game, let alone a real NBA game. Nobody was interested. You sucked as an organization. And what did you do? Allen Iverson, could you come to the rescue? Could you be there for us? We want to celebrate you and what have you. You marketed it. You monetized it. You generated revenue off of it. That's what you did because you didn't matter at that time. This is when Joel Embiid was hurt. And he was out for the first 2 years. This is when Ben Simmons was hurt and he couldn't play his year. This is when the process led by Mr. Sam Hinkie and Josh Harris, the owner, and all of these other guys, when you couldn't buy a damn game, when you were losing 18 and 19 in a row and suffering from 10 and 72 seasons. That's what you were doing. And Allen Iverson was of interest then. And think about what he said to Taylor Rooks, who did an outstanding job with that interview, by the way. And my man Al Harrington was sitting right next to AI. I love that brother, too. What did you do? You did all of that. What did Allen Iverson say when he sat down with Taylor Rooks? You know what he said? He said, I know basketball. He's not talking about analytics and PERs and all of this other stuff. He's talking about himself, a career 26.7 point per game scorer, a Hall of Famer, a dude that played his first 10 years in Philadelphia, averaging over 40 minutes a night. His lowest minutes total per night was 39.4 minutes per game his second year in the league. We hadn't seen a box office attraction like him this side of Michael Jordan. Kobe came later in terms of being box office. AI was already there. He carried this franchise on the back. And if it wasn't for Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, he would have delivered a championship because he got up to the finals. And somehow, some way, you have no role for this brother. When Ben Simmons is talking about he don't ever want to play for the franchise again, when you talk about the city of brotherly love, a blue-collar city if ever there was one, heart, guts, warriors, who personifies that better than Allen Iverson? Nobody. And every player this side, you can't find an NBA player now that wouldn't tell you what a warrior that brother is. Came there every night. You knew you were going to have to deal with him. And they all revere about it. LeBron revered. Kobe, God rest his soul, revered about it. Shaq talked about it. Barkley, everybody. Nobody's saying the brother should be the president of basketball operations or some GM. He'll tell you that. But no role, 76ers? Zero? You trying to tell me that if Allen Iverson was hanging around, that these players, any of them would be devoid of heart, that we'd have questions about whether or not what cardiologists they need to see? If Allen Iverson was a part of that organization in some capacity? I find this to be incredibly egregious. And like I said, I don't know all the details. I heard what he had to say. I'm going to call the Sixers about this because to me, there's no excuse for Allen Iverson. As far as I'm concerned, Allen Iverson should be receiving a check from the Sixers for the rest of his life. What he did for that franchise, how he carried them on his back, what money he generated for the Sixers franchise over those years. Allen Iverson should be receiving a check from the Philadelphia 76ers for the rest of his life. I don't give a damn if you got him as a scout. I don't give a damn if you got him as a consultant. Whatever the case may be, he does know basketball. And let me tell you something.
Obviously.
He could spot a soft brother that ain't got the heart to play basketball in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
He could peel that out in a second. He don't need analytics to do that. I'm going to stop right there because, again, I understand the brother ain't perfect. But
Well, nobody's perfect.
But if you were thrown in jail
Yeah.
at age 17 and sentenced to 3 5-year prison term sentences because of a mob that developed in a bowling alley when there was so much that was up in the air that was so questionable, and you nearly had your life ruined, okay? Sometimes you're going to come out of that experience and you're not going to make all the right decisions. You're not going to make the best decisions. But I know this much. The brother went from incarceration to being a Hall of Famer. And one of the greatest warriors this game of basketball has ever seen, who personifies everything Philadelphia claims to be. For the Philadelphia 76ers to have this situation where this brother is receiving absolutely nothing is shameful. I'm going to leave